What's up, everybody? It's your favorite menacing moments, favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the DX9, was it Attila? Whatever the name was of their Menasor. We're going to combine it. We have all the pieces. We got the tools. We got the talent. And today we're going to put it together. We're going to show how the transformations go. We're going to go through all of it. The drag strip review will either be coming on Wednesday or already came on Monday. It's hard to say at this point because it all depends on how much I can get done in the next couple hours. But this is them in vehicle mode, and I think they look great together. Obviously, the trailer's not fully intact. Hopefully, I've tried to hide it the best I could, because if you thought I was going to transform all of that back, you are mistaken. However, I think they do look great together. Now let's look at them in robot mode. Once again, I think they look pretty strong, cohesive. They look like a group. They look like they should. If I were to make criticisms, I would say that Drag Strip, Capone, and Breakdown look clearly the best, whereas Wild Rider and Dead End leave the most to be desired, with Wild Rider being my last favorite choice. But it's another one of those things, right? When they're all together, the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts, right? You end up kind of forgiving little things and overlooking things in order to get to the bigger picture, which is the team. So let's get him transformed, and you kind of got to do the first couple steps, which is unlocking the trailer. You can collapse those purple pieces. You can collapse the wheels here, and and then you want to open up and split the center of the trailer. All right, so now we got to collapse it all. Collapse your smokestacks and kind of fold them onto the back, and then collapse the base of the chest there, and then these side mirrors are going to plug in to the side of the trailer right there on both sides, and then sort of just clamp everything around it. And I don't have it quite right, but I might need to do it off camera. There we go. And then you want to bring your wheels up and collapse them up against the front wheels. Then on the back of Menasor, open up that. Open up these side pieces here, and then sit this guy up in the middle, and these pegs will tab back into the side panels. It's a little challenging to do with the camera in front of me, but not the worst thing in the world. And then once you get everything lined back up, then just bring that plate back down. For drag strip, unplug these side pieces and bring up the engine block. That piece will fold down, and then that will allow you to slide out the middle section from there. This piece is good to go. This piece, spin the engine block 180, fold the side wings of the engine block in, and collapse it against the inside. Then you've got this little clip here that slides into there and slides down. So we'll put it in, slide it down. Then this one, you got these two holes there, two pegs there, and then this piece that goes in the waist section. Good grief, Stutter and Stanley. But then that goes in there. And that's solid as a rock. For Dead End, you want to split the lower body from the upper body. Easy for me to say, right? And fold the feet out of the way so that you can get access to his waist section and separate there. Then this you just sort of fold up and get out of the way, put the side doors back together, and this one I think you leave it here, yeah, because you got to have access to that. So same thing, we got this little clip here. It's going to go in the arm and slide down, and same thing for the bottom one. We got the waist clip there, and we have two tabs, two slots, right? Looks good. Then you have Breakdown, and it's just this piece here that folds up. I've already done it. It's kind of a pain to get to. That's why you've got this tab, or a slot rather, this little section in there, and this. And that connects to here. You can get access to it by opening up that flap and get you a little bit of support against this piece that has a tendency to want to move back. And you're looking at this clip, that peg, which doesn't really, I guess that goes in there. This clip clips onto here, and then you have this piece down there, and then that sits in between. So let's try it. like a glove. And you have Wild Rider, who just has this piece flip up. Now, that piece is going to go through there, and then this hole utilizes that peg. We'll open up our flap to give us a little bit of advantage. And there we have it. That's not great. Let me work with that for a minute. And there he is. And look, I'm trying to, like, I don't have him posed, obviously. I just try to give you first impressions as far as, like, plain Jane, right? And that's what it looks like. And it's not hateful, but we are going to talk about it. Proportions look great, and there's some issues I have with it. We will get there, but let's go through articulation and stuff. What I do want to point out here, before we get to kind of piece by piece, the paint accents look great, like all these little silver accents and stuff there, even down here in the legs, the purple stuff, the little black paint here, all of it looks great, and it's needed because it does look very plain. It really would have benefited from a paint makeover. It would have given it that extra oomph. It does look very plasticky, and the car arms do help a lot. Like adding that flare. I know it's not cartoon accurate, but I wonder if the cars wouldn't look better in the front just to break it up a little bit, because this flat gray unpainted plastic, to me, it does stick out a bit. I just want to be forthcoming about that. But proportion wise, it looks good. The build is good. There's some connectivity issues that we will talk about as we go through, but let's go piece by piece. And a lot of this we've already talked about. There's silver paint up here on the collar. The head itself is on a hinge swivel, so you can get up to there. The ears do articulate a bit, rather up or to the side, and you get a swivel. The face is painted silver, and because of the light up effect, I believe, you don't get paint on the eyes, which is kind of a bummer. But that's that. For the shoulder, you have soft ratcheted shoulders that work fine forward and back. They'll go around 360. You get ratcheted hardware out to the side on the lower hinge, like at the hinge in the arm. The hinge in the body will not support the weight. So you're left pretty much with the hinge on the arm that is ratcheted. They probably should have ratcheted that hinge in the body. Articulation seems to be a little limited out to the side. Back that out a bit. You know, so that's a bit of a bummer as well, to be fair. You know, it's like about 45 degrees. You hit up against here. I don't see any way to kind of extend it. Maybe there is, and if there is and you guys know and I don't, well, you should probably be doing reviews for one. But for two, just strike that from the list. But as far as I can tell, that's kind of what you're stuck with. Now, we'll continue on. We do have a bicep swivel. That's hard ratcheted for whatever reason. And then we have an elbow, which I will get to you, which gets you more than 90 degrees, and you get the little added extra piston detail there as well, and all of it looks legit. I love the color breakup, especially on drag strip, how that comes through. You have a wrist swivel, tight joint. Thumb is on a ball peg with a secondary and tertiary, somebody always corrects me on that, knuckle, and then the fingers are all individually articulated with a ball peg at the index, at the base knuckle, and then pins at the secondary and tertiary knuckles, so they're fully articulated. So no issues there. I guess we can go ahead and do the waist from here as well. Ratcheted, that came unplugged. That's because the ratchet is so strong. Ratcheted waist. As for the hips, ratcheted out for maybe not the full Van Damme, but pretty close, and it holds the weight really well. As you can see, my breakdown fell off. We will get to that, but holds it pretty well. That was actually this joint that failed and not this one, for me putting pressure against it. So that's nice. Ratcheted thigh swivel, so that's nice. Single hinge knee that gets you just shy of 90 degrees. That's ratcheted as well. Ankles, you're pretty much left with a swivel and a ratcheted rocker. So no tilt up or down. And there's a brief view from the back. Obviously, it's got his arm curled up, but pretty clean. I could tighten up those tires there, but pretty clean. The breakdown is an issue, and we will talk about that when we get to final thoughts. But basically, the clip that hangs on to the tab inside of the leg works fine. getting it to stay onto these back pieces, not so much. Now, if you recall, and I think I'm right about this, he came with this adapter piece. I've tried to figure out a way to incorporate it. I cannot figure out a way. So if you know or can direct me somewhere to someone who does know, please let me know, because I will fix that. But I remember it coming with that piece and everybody saying it was to be used for combine mode, but I can't find a way to use it. There is a hole in the back of the calf for him, but I can't find a corresponding place for it to fit on breakdown. But yeah, that's him. Let's do some size comparisons and some final thoughts. Size comparison wise, there he is with Devi and Bruticus from Zeta and Toy World respectfully, and I mean, fixed in great. It gives me a little bit of a peace of mind, you know, like if it all should come crumbling down tomorrow, I got the big three, you know what I mean, Decepticon combiners, and pretty happy with all three. It's just a blast from the past, right? And all blasts from the past are good. Well, most things. Pretty comfy though, you know what I mean? Final thoughts wise, let's start with the negatives. The biggest glaring issue with this guy is that breakdown doesn't connect securely. He went on the first time I put him on, which was in this video, like a dream. But I think it actually put a stress mark on the plastic where it clips in behind the tire, and it hasn't really been right since. In fact, it's only been frustrating ever since. That's kind of unforgivable. Everything needs to attach, especially this, which just sits there. It literally just sits there. That's all the engineering required. Make it connect. So that's a bummer. Secondary issue is with paint. It doesn't really need paint, but because it's so much flat gray, it does look a little plainer than usual, than what you would expect with a combiner, which is unfortunate. The arms do help it, but because there's so much flat gray here at the front, a paint coat on there would probably have been much better. And then the flat purple right underneath. And I said this on Patreon, but like, I've looked at this thing without cars on it for a year and it's never bothered me, but now that I know it's done, it's bothering me. There's also a softer plastic being used here generally, right? And a lot of tabs and stuff, but a lot of ratchets, and some of the ratchets are kind of weirdly placed. Like, you would want a harder ratchet at the shoulder, but instead they give it to you at the waist. You would want a stronger ratchet at the elbow, but instead they give it to you at the thigh swivel, stuff like that. And as you go to manipulate it, as you saw in this video, stuff has a tendency to come unpegged. So, bit of a bummer as well. And you have to do the classic Menasor pose, right? So let's move on to positives. The arms work like a champ. The skeleton, for the most part, works like a champ. Wild Rider works fairly well. I'd say he's operating at least 85%. So the majority of it does work extremely well. The transformations to get them here obviously doesn't take much, so that's kind of fun. I don't know if it gets points for that or not, but I'm giving it to him. And then there's silver paint on the face that comes through, some of the accents, the purple accents, all that stuff comes through, the sculpt comes through, so a lot of it does work. I can recommend it. Just be advised that breakdown is a pain in the backside. It's a pain. And be careful, because I do have stress marks around that one piece, which I will show you right here. So I'm not even sure if you can see it, but it's right where the C is. It's right in there. So just be careful, because that'll be a kind of a critical break. Also, I forgot to mention, but I will real quick. I wish that he came with a more like cohesive looking weapon, like a gun, because he does have the sword and all the other, the little bug thing works well enough for a gun, but I wish he would have come with a separate gun as well. So just use caution, be gentle. The good news is a lot of this works really well. And if they were going to leave, this is a decent foot to leave on. Not a home run, but a double, if not a triple. Oh, and I did put batteries in his eyes, by the way. Let me see if I can't show that real quick. We'll go off on that note. All right, or they might have come installed, who knows. And they're kind of weak. I mean, they look good with no light on, but with the slightest bit of light on, they don't work all that well. But yeah, there he is. I'm happy with him. I think you will be too. Just be advised, the breakdown thing is a big, big bummer. I'm sure somebody will come along somewhere with a fix. Somebody might already have one. Somebody might already put the link in the comments. If they do, I'll pin it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.